Hey Dub, this is Dave Side. Today we have 3 topics to get into. We have some behind the scenes photo of J-Hope or backstage photos that were posted. We also have Jungkook and Lisa being talked about together by Forbes, and we have Jin shocking the staff. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's spilling my merch, let's get into it. The first thing we need to talk about is the game In the Sun. This game is probably one of the cutest games that BTS has ever created, and I'm so glad that both the company and BTS are at this point where they can really put their entire soul and being into everything that they create, which is the goal. This is why if you like an artist or creator, you should support them as much as you can, because as they grow and get more money, money becomes less of a worry and they can put all their resources and time into just creating the best thing possible. In the Sun is very much a game where it feels like you are virtually hanging out with the members. Each member spent a significant amount of their time designing and thinking about how the game will be played and making sure to add their personality into it. In the past, BTS had a Guitar Hero type of game where you just tap on the screen and it plays the music as you tap. And then they had a story game. But this new game is entirely different from all of that, and you can see how far they have come. To say that any of the members had to compromise when designing this game, I don't think they had to. There seemingly was a huge team of people behind the game, that anything that the boys would want to include in the game, the developers would be able to make happen. Oftentimes when you ask people to do things for you, since most of us can't afford to have a personal person that only focuses on you and only works for you, the person we'd hire to do various small tasks would have their time divided up and would often tell you that they can't do something because it'll either take too much of their time or they'll just assume you can't afford it. All of which I doubt BTS or HYBE had this problem, especially with developing this game. The game has puzzles you can solve and then also just cute moments where you can drag the members around to do certain things. This was a game that seemed like a lot of the staff put a lot of thought into it and took BTS's old moments that actually happened in real life and found a way to incorporate it in the game. The tiniest of details, I am telling you. From how Jimin boxes, he'll go much lighter versus how Jungkook would box, it would be a lot heavier and harder, and then small things like BTS members on top of each other. I think a lot of those cute moments were definitely added in by the staff, and the staff going through BTS's old videos and picking out cute fun moments. But then these specific puzzles were designed by members themselves. One member's puzzle that stood out was Jin. His puzzles are extremely difficult, and so much so that even the members, when they play, they recognize the thought process and how genius it all is. He designed his puzzles to be very difficult and even had a puzzle where you had to solve it in one move. So you had to have looked at the whole puzzle and decide what one move is going to make everything work. So there was a clip where he was speaking with the developer of the game, and the developer was just amazed at how genius Jin was at designing this game. Talked about how smart it is and how genius it is for putting this much thought into it. It was something that even RM, who is reported to have a high IQ, thought that the game was challenging. This game is definitely great for all people who, whether you love BTS or not, even if you don't understand all the references, that is okay. You can still enjoy the game and realize that it's cute. You can also enjoy puzzles as well and then find them challenging, that it would be enough to pass the time for you. I was definitely surprised to really think about how much effort went into creating this. I just thought I was dumb for not getting it, but it seemed like he put a lot of effort and it didn't want people to just easily get it and then just move on. Now, if you're not interested in gaming, there's plenty of other ways you can spend time with the boys, including their reality show In the Soup, Bon Voyage, and Run BTS. I'm reacting to the reality shows on my Patreon, so if you would like to join me and maybe chill, have a drink, and have a good laugh, I will link the Patreon below. There seems to be so much going on lately. BTS is on their break, but they have released and created more stuff than when they did their comeback. Of course, the game is one, and it's enough to keep ARMYs talking about it for months. And then there's, of course, the solo work that the members are putting out. J-Hope put out more, and he released the music video and concept photos and all that. And honestly, I thought that that would be it. I didn't think we'd get another video, or at least not until the album is out. And it seemed like J-Hope might be releasing another music video on the day the album drops, which is just insane. Like, to think about how much J-Hope is working and how hard he is working, because I don't think most people understand how difficult it really is. Getting creative and getting inspired is super hard. Everyone knows this. They just think that artists have it come to them more naturally. And yes, in some cases for sure, but that's not always the case. And it can require a lot of introspection and finding yourself and listening to other artists to get inspired. And then that's what people think is the hard part. No, the hard part is doing all that, performing, coming up with ideas, and making sure your movements, facial expressions, and all that are perfect, not letting the news articles and comments tear you down, all while you've only slept 3 hours that week and are probably feeling depressed and anxious because of the lack of sleep. So in your mind, you're hearing, that shot wasn't good enough. Oh God, I look so ugly today. What do I need to do today to make sure the music video is the best? And you're thinking all of that with like hazy glasses on. Nothing is clear because you haven't slept. Like, people don't understand how hard being an artist or any type of creator is, only for people to come in and just casually leave a hate comment. Because if you're friends with that artist or creator and you saw the effort they put in, you'd realize, oh wow, this is not just some spoiled brat who got lucky. But this is why we need to give J-Hope our energy and support, because I do feel like he has been sleeping less just by looking at the fact that in 2 weeks he will be releasing 2 music videos, and he also has performances, etc. J-Hope did release more concept photos, and he or Big Hit tagged the photo with Arson. And J-Hope did release the track list for his album, and Arson was one of the songs. So people think that there might be a music video, and it might come out the day of the album. Very exciting. And if it was anything like the more concept photos, the Arson photos will be backstage or behind the scenes photos of the actual Arson music video. So we might be looking at frames from the backstage moments of the music video, since the concept for more were not screen grabs of the music video, but just a photographer who seemingly was on set and decided to take some pictures. These photos ended up trending and people were very excited. I'm definitely excited to see the music video and hear the song as well. Only a few more days. Of course, with all the solo stuff happening at once, it seems like Jungkook is also in the news. I hope that each member still gets their moment to shine and another member's solo doesn't interfere with the other members. But it's completely different genres like J-Hope and Jungkook. Jungkook and Charlie Puth did release their collaboration Left and Right, and it completely shot up to the top 100, and this is very exciting. People were saying that the song only succeeded because of Jungkook, and I think Jungkook brings a lot of weight to the song. But that's completely ignoring the fact that Charlie has had mega hits without any features on them. And it was reported by Forbes that this was a big accomplishment for Jungkook. Although it's interesting to me how every article reports this as Jungkook solo artist on the top whatever, but this was a feature. I don't think Charlie is mad about it, but I think it's interesting how Charlie isn't really giving credit at all. But what was really interesting was how Jungkook was being compared to Lisa from Blackpink and CL from 2NE1. And Forbes compared how those two female artists have had similar accomplishments during their solo endeavors, and Jungkook is right on track. Then also Psy was brought up, and this is normal because these are the big artists that have made huge waves in K-pop. I am not bashing this article at all, and it's very common to bring up other artists in the same position as Jungkook right now and rank how each artist compares. I think it's interesting to see how Jungkook is on the right path. Like, I don't think anyone was surprised to hear that Jungkook would do well during his solo endeavors, but it seemingly seemed like a concern for the company. It seemed like they were worried that the members may not perform as well as solo artists compared to the group, and it's totally understandable. A group by nature is going to do better just because the weaker points of an artist can be taken over by another artist in that group. So if you can't rap, there's another member that can do that. If you're not the best dancer, you'll likely be placed in the back and people won't notice. Things like that, that when you're a solo artist, it's hard to hide. And also some people just like one member mainly. So they'll buy the group album and stuff to support that one member. But if everyone is going solo, then these fans won't buy the other artist's stuff and just the one member that they like. So the fandom ends up being a bit divided. However, I am happy to see Jungkook rank with Lisa in the top 100. It shows that both icons can definitely hold their own and people love them both. But what do you think? Do you mind Lisa and Jungkook being talked about together by Forbes? And what do you think of the possible behind the scenes Arson J-Hope music video photos? And how do you feel about Jin's genius game designing brain that shocked the staff? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. I think it's just lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.